Thank you, Jess, and welcome everyone this morning. So, as Jess said this morning, our theme is curiosity, and I truly believe one of the greatest, most important skills and embodiments we can hone in this life on our journeys. And really kind of dropping into my intention, the group intention for these practices today is to be curious about how curiosity is showing up in your life, the qualities of curiosity, and I'll go into that a little bit in a moment. As a somatic healing therapist, my most repeated questions, and the ones that I really urge others to ask themselves as much as possible, is, if I stay with this experience of what's arising for a little bit longer, what do we notice? And my second question is, what wants to happen next? In what is present for me? What wants to happen next? Embodied curiosity is wholehearted. And by that, I mean, it's no shame, no blame, no judgment towards whatever we notice. And instead meeting it with a kindness, a curiosity that gives us permission to not label what we notice as right or wrong, good or bad, fixed or broken. It allows space for what could be perceived as contradictory to be present in all of our in our experience all at once. And I think the quality and the skill of this embodied curiosity, it helps us to build greater tolerance, respect, patience for ourselves and for others too. And it enables our spectrum of human experience and responses to be welcome, to be honest, to be imperfect, and worthy of being listened to. Now, curiosity embodied offers us the opportunity to be in greater connection with ourselves, with nature, with the world around us, to deeply listen and feel the unfolding response and relationship between us and those. So this trio of practices today is an invitation to hone the skill. And my invitation to you throughout is to remain this wholeheartedly curious, where we're not judging, we're not blaming, we're not trying to fix, and be curious around where this quality of curiosity could support you in different areas of your life. In communication, in work, in being outside in nature, in your own personal practice. And within that personal inquiry today, perhaps asking, what are the things that stand in your way of being able to embody that curiosity in your everyday life, whether that's beliefs, fears, stories, behaviors, stress. And today and always and forever, the things that I offer, everything is an invitation today. I appreciate that being curious about the body's experience, placing hands on the body, which is what we'll be doing to an extent today in one of the practices, can be uncomfortable, both from a mobility perspective as well as an emotional one. So you must be the attentive gauge of how far you go, take a break, and let that information be helpful too, where we go in our comfort zone. Don't push through panic or pain here. Because in curiosity, there's no finish line to race to, just more of ourselves to inhabit and be in conversation with. So we're going to move through some gentle movement into some meditation, an embodied meditation, and then some heart-focused breath work to close. So let's start with some movement, and we can do all these practices with eyes open or closed. Closing eyes isn't for everyone, so choose what's right for you. And also maybe be curious about what keeping your eyes open or closing, what that brings and how that changes the quality of your experience. So as you're sat here, we're going to start with some pandiculation, one of my most favorite words. And if you've ever watched a cat or a dog stretch, this is pretty much what we're going to be doing to begin with. So just in your chair, and you breathe in, really breathe in right to the top, and maybe have a nice big stretch of the arms. There's no one way to do this. Big breath in. And as you breathe out, either yawn or sigh that breath out of the mouth and bring your arms down. And take that a few more times, and you might stretch your arms up, you might stretch them out. Ah, and I appreciate, I know we've got someone on a train I saw in the chat, so you might not be able to do this in quite such a big movement here, but this is just an opportunity to get that big stretch on the inhale, or maybe a little stretch so you don't bump into the people sitting next to you on the train. And just letting that exhale slowly guide the movement back down. And we're just going to stay with this just for a few more moments. I was thinking about if you see a cat or a dog stretching and yawning, maybe watching a child do their stretch and yawn before they got told that yawning's rude. Really let that be as satisfying as possible. I'm just going to take 2 or 3 more of these big free movements here. And as you do, if you're able to yawn right now, know that yawning is probably one of our most underrated tools in our toolkit. It loosens the jaw, it opens the throat, it speaks to the vagus nerve, sending messages back to the body that it's safe to settle, it's safe to slow down. Lovely. Let's just take one more for good measure. Lovely. And then just letting the hands settle on the lap, ground your feet and take a few breaths here and just notice what's in the aftermath of that. Just notice what sensation you feel, where you feel it. What's the feedback that you're getting from the body? Noticing where your stress levels, whether there's emotions or chatter present, welcoming it all in with that curiosity of whatever you notice is helpful and it's honest right now. Now from here, we're going to move into a little bit more movement, and we'll start with the hands, shoulders and arms. So as you breathe in, we're going to make fists with the hands and squeeze those shoulders right up towards the ears. And as we exhale, we're going to, almost like we're deflating, exhale right to the end and release that movement. And let's take that a few more times, just with the hands, shoulders and arms. And perhaps for those who are on our commute right now, if you don't want to make the sound with the breath, you can blow or shh the exhale out. And for those of us who we feel able to, we can bring our face into this as well. So as you squeeze the arms, the shoulders, maybe squeeze the face, grit the jaw, squeeze the eyes. And just keeping this going for a few more rounds, noticing how it is to gather that energy on the tension and what comes with that slow release of the exhale here. Now, keeping with the arms, the shoulders, also the face, if you're able to in the environment you're in. We're now on the next inhale, also gonna squeeze through the glutes, the legs, squeeze the toes, squeeze the arms, squeeze the face, whole body, and then slowly starting to release with that of the exhale. And keeping this now going for a few breaths. Bringing the whole body, almost maybe curling into a bit of a bracing as we switch everything on. And then slowly, gradually letting that go. We're not plonking ourselves into the next movement. We're slowly releasing that effort. Let's take 3 more of those full body inhales and release. Lovely. Let's take 2 more here. Slowly spreading feet back into the floor, maybe hands spreading into the lap, posture slowly unfurling and lengthening again. And then just taking a moment here to notice what's here now. In those last few minutes of practice and movement, what's here in the body now? What do you notice? And then we're going to very slowly bring the hands up to face height, the palms facing you, if that's available to you. With the palms facing you, easy fingers and palms. And again, if you're out and about right now, you might want to bring your hands down a little bit. That's fine. And just send all your attention as if you're shining your spotlight of attention on the hands. Feel them just as they are, the sensation in them, the front and the back of them, between the fingers. And with a gentle, steady breath here now, just feeling the hands, these incredible sensors. From them being still, perhaps really gently closing them and opening them and really slowing down that move, being with that whole process of slowly closing them and opening them. We're just waking up these sense perceptions of your fingers and your palms. And if you want to bring a little bit more into this, perhaps as you close, you inhale. And as you breathe out, you exhale. Let's take one more moment here, just being with the hands. And then bringing that movement to a pause. If your hands are out in front of you right now, keeping them there. And over the next few breaths, on the inhale, breathing into the top. And as you breathe out, gently blowing on one hand at a time. And on your next exhale, blowing on the other hand. And continuing this just for a moment, we're just bringing in another quality of information into the hands that we're sensing. Wonderful. And then letting the blowing come to a pause and just noticing the hands as they are. Are they the hands you started with at the beginning of this practice? And with these heightened senses hands, we're going to move into a little bit of touch embodied meditation here. So with eyes open or closed, my invitation to you is to imagine 1,000 eyes on the palms of your hands. And the hands can be down now if you want them to be. 1,000 eyes sensing on the hands. And as you notice these 1,000 eyes sensing, bringing in, feeding back information right now. Starting to extend your attention to the whole body and noticing without doing just yet where your hands might want to land on the body in a moment. Where do my hands want to land on the body in a moment? Maybe it's the lap, the shoulder, neck, face, stomach, heart, wherever it might be. They might land in 2 different places. And before you place your hands there, tuning in again to these receiving, listening, sensing hands. And instead of them plopping your hands somewhere, slow down that journey now to where they're going to land. And when they do land on the body, letting them arrive on the body so that they're both giving that a touch and receiving that touch. Let them arrive, that touch softening and spreading to the body. Just tuning into this kind of responsivity. Perhaps anchoring this with some slower breaths, perhaps blowing out the exhale as you do. Notice where they land with curiosity. To be in that process of listening, responding, and now experiencing. Notice how your body responds to this touch, to this attentiveness. And my invitation here is, once you've sat in this gesture, in this dialogue, perhaps now asking if there's another spot on the body. Where do the hands want to go next? And just as before, very slowly, gradually letting that touch arrive. Notice how the breath, the body responds to that new touch. What are you sensing? What are you feeling? And there's no right or wrong here. It's just what is. And being in that light, listening, responsive touch, those 1,000 eyes. And my invitation here in a moment is to ask one more time. There might be a part of the body that's saying, me too. And so very slowly, letting the hands land somewhere else and letting that touch arrive onto the body. Breathing with that arriving, that receiving, that responsivity. How your body responds, how your mood responds. Taking another breath here. And then very, very gently, perhaps your hands want to stay here. Or perhaps we start to let the hands find a landing place for the next practice. And just as we have done in these last few minutes, letting that touch arrive on the body with responsivity and curiosity here. And before we move into the final section of this circuit today, what do you notice now? Resting your hands and your arms here, listening right now, receiving the whole body for a moment as this field of sensation and experience. In response to these little inquiries that we just offered ourselves, now being in the aftermath of that. Any emotion, sensation, image, thought, wholeheartedly welcome them in as part of your human, honest experience. And then let's begin to bring in a balanced breath. So over the next few rounds, perhaps counting the breath. Perhaps starting with an inhale for 4 and exhale for 4, and either lessening it or increasing it. So it's a pace that you can maintain for these last few minutes of the session. Sense the whole body being breathed in that balanced inhale and that balanced exhale. Sensing the whole body breathing in, the whole body breathing out. And then we're going to begin to just channel our attention from the whole body to the space of the heart, the center of the chest. And you might find it helpful to rest a hand here, or you might just let your attention rest here. Continuing with that balanced breath, sensing now it moving directly in and out of this space. If your hand's there, perhaps imagining the breeze of the breath traveling underneath it to enter, and the breeze of the breath leaving the body. And as you continue to connect to the heart through the breath, asking yourself now, where might this wholehearted curiosity, without judgment, without shame or blame, how might this curiosity support you today? Staying with the heart and staying with that tidal balanced breath. Where might this curiosity support you today? It might be with someone else. It might be staying attentive to your own needs. How might this curiosity shift how you show up in your day to day? With this curiosity embodied in you, what might that bring to your day? What other qualities might that support in you? Patience, listening, whatever it might be, what qualities might this curiosity support you in walking around with in your day ahead? And breathing that quality now directly into the heart and letting it radiate out to the extremities of your body. Breathing in that curiosity, radiating it out to the boundaries of your body. Taking a few more breaths here, drawing that embodied, wholehearted curiosity in and letting it radiate out to the boundaries of you. Now, before we close today, my invitation is that we take a collective breath here together. All breathing in this curiosity here. And all letting it radiate out to the boundaries of our body. Sharing in an inhale here. And sharing in an exhale here. And then very gently start to shift your attention back to your body on the chair, the space around you, tuning into how you are, how it is to be you on all those levels right now. And with eyes open, if they were closed, begin to take in your space and notice how you're taking in the space around you now. And then very gently take that into your day ahead. Thank you so much for practicing with me today, and have a really wonderful day.